told you it was love. They convinced you it was normal. They made you believe the problem was you. But somewhere beneath the confusion, the self-doubt, the endless explanations that never quite made sense, you knew something was wrong. This is where we stop pretending. This is where we examine what they never wanted you to see. The patterns that controlled you, the systems that protected them.
Finding ways to be financially savvy is a smart move, and knowing you could be saving money for the things you really want, like that dream home or new ride, is a great feeling. That's why the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you save when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
If you've experienced a sudden or gradual shift that stripped away your social status, a fall from being valued or respected in your family or relationship, you know how destabilizing and isolating it feels. Maybe you were once the daughter whose opinions mattered until they didn't. Maybe you were the wife whose input was valued until suddenly every suggestion you made was wrong. Maybe you had influence in your workplace or social circle until the ground shifted beneath you and you found yourself on the outside looking in. One day you mattered. The next day or over time you became irrelevant and nobody could explain why. Welcome back to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'm Lynn, your host. Today we're talking about what happens when you lose social status in patriarchal systems and how that loss gets weaponized to keep you compliant and controlled. Here's what I need you to understand right from the start. Losing status wasn't random. It wasn't because you changed or became less capable or less worthy of respect. Status in patriarchal systems isn't actually about merit or contribution. It's about control. And whoever holds power controls who gets status and who loses it. When someone in a position of power needs to maintain their dominance, engineering your fall from grace serves their agenda perfectly. It reinforces the hierarchy. It reminds everyone else what happens when you step out of line. And it keeps you so focused on trying to regain what you lost that you stop questioning why it was taken away in the first place. In narcissistic family systems, this shows up as golden children who suddenly become scapegoats. You might have been the daughter who could do no wrong, whose achievements were celebrated, whose opinions were sought. Then something shifted. Maybe you started questioning family decisions. Maybe you became inconveniently successful. Maybe you threatened someone's position just by being yourself. Suddenly your achievements became luck. Your opinions became naive. Your presence became a problem. The shift is often gradual enough that you don't notice it happening until you're already isolated. Comments that used to be supportive become subtly critical. Invitations to important conversations stop coming. Your contributions get overlooked while others get praised for less. Your mistakes get magnified while everyone else's get minimized or ignored entirely. In adult relationships, this might look like a partner who initially valued your intelligence and independence, but slowly began undermining both. Your career success becomes a threat to manage rather than celebrate. Your social connections get criticized until you start limiting them. Your family relationships get poisoned through subtle comments and manufactured conflicts. Before you know it, you're dependent on someone who's actively working to diminish you. What makes this particularly devastating is how it affects your relationship with yourself. When the people around you stop treating you as valuable, you start wondering if you ever were. When your contributions get dismissed repeatedly, you start questioning whether you have anything worthwhile to contribute. When your instincts get overruled consistently, you start doubting your own judgment. The gaslighting around status loss is brutal. You're told you're imagining the change in treatment. You're told you brought it on yourself through your attitude or behavior. You're told that everyone else is fine with you. So if you're feeling excluded, that's your own insecurity talking. But you know something fundamental has shifted, even if you can't put your finger on exactly when or how it happened. Here's what's particularly insidious about status as a control mechanism. It creates scarcity. There's only so much status to go around, so everyone becomes competitive for approval from whoever holds the power. This keeps people focused on staying in the good graces of the person in charge, rather than questioning whether that person should be in charge at all. In workplace settings, you might have experienced this as losing favor with a boss or mentor who previously championed your work. Suddenly, your ideas aren't as brilliant. Your performance isn't as impressive. Your potential isn't as promising. Meanwhile, others who toe the line or pose no threat get the opportunities and recognition that used to come your way. The truth about status in these systems is that it was never really about you. It was always about serving someone else's need to feel superior. When you had status, it was because maintaining your position served their interests. When you lost it, it was because your diminishment served their interests better. You weren't demoted because you became less competent. You weren't excluded because you became less valuable. You weren't dismissed because you became less worthy of respect. Your status was revoked because someone needed you to remember your place in their hierarchy, and that place was beneath them. The most damaging part of this dynamic is how it trains you to accept crumbs. Once you've experienced the loss of status, you become grateful for any recognition at all. You lower your expectations. You apologize for taking up space. You work twice as hard for half the acknowledgement because you remember what it felt like to get nothing at all. But here's what they don't want you to realize. Your worth isn't determined by whoever happens to be in power at the moment. Your contributions don't become less valuable because someone decides not to acknowledge them. Your intelligence doesn't diminish because someone chooses to ignore it. Your status in any healthy system should be based on your actual capabilities and contributions, not on your willingness to stay small enough to make others feel big. The system worked exactly as designed. It kept you focused on regaining approval rather than questioning why that approval could be withdrawn so arbitrarily. It kept you competing for scraps of recognition rather than demanding the respect you deserved all along. When you look back, how did changes in your perceived status affect the way you were treated, and who benefited from your diminished role? Notice how your fall created space for someone else to rise. Notice how your uncertainty about your own worth made everyone else's authority seem more legitimate. This is Lynn, and this has been another episode of the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'll see you in the next one. Visit our website at movingforwardafterabuse.com for articles, resources, and more support on your recovery journey.
AI is transforming customer service. It's real and it works. And with Finn, we've built the #1 AI agent for customer service. We're seeing lots of cases where it's solving up to 90% of real queries for real businesses. This includes the real-world complex stuff like issuing a refund or cancelling an order. And we also see it when Finn goes up against competitors. It's top of all the performance benchmarks, top of the G2 leaderboard, and if you're not happy, we'll refund you up to $1 million, which I think says it all. Check it out for yourself at fin.ai.
Try Angel Soft for your tushy. It's made by angels. Soft and strong, budget friendly. The choice is simple. Pick up a pack today. Angel Soft. Soft and strong, simple.
This work is hard, really hard. Questioning everything you were taught, seeing systems that were invisible, sitting with truth that change how you see the world. It's exhausting and overwhelming sometimes. There's no timeline for this, no right way to process it. We've gone daily now because these conversations matter. Subscribe so new episodes land automatically when they drop.